Hey everyone, I'm back, and today I'm going to be showing you my entire Blu Ray collection. And this is pretty much a thank you for watching my videos as always. And I usually do these every year, and my collection's only going to get bigger. And this is just to show off everything that I have in my collection. How this is going to work is I'm just going to start off with TV shows, then my movies, and I've organized them alphabetically. And I don't have any 4K TV shows, so we'll just go into those. And for my movies, it'll be 4Ks first, then Blu-rays, but I've also organized them with boutique labels, and I just go alphabetically in the boutique labels stuff, and then just go into my steelbooks and then standard releases. So with all that said, let's get on with this, and I'll say my brief thoughts on these. Bates Motel Season 2, it was probably the best season. I wouldn't call it great, but it's still something that I didn't regret watching. So I guess check it out if you want, even if it's not great. Better Call Saul Season 4 and Season 6. Really enjoyed Better Call Saul. I still haven't seen Season 6, but I will get to it once I review the entire series of Breaking Bad, which I'll get back to at some point. Sorry for the long delay. We got Chainsaw Man, first anime to appear in my collection, or for this video at least. Really enjoyed Chainsaw Man. Loved the movie. I forget the name of it right now. Well, mostly the pronunciation, but really loved that movie that we got. And now we got Cowboy Bebop, which I haven't seen yet, but I've heard good things about it. We got Death Note, an anime that I really loved, and would love to come back to it, and I'll get to it at some point. The Flash, Season 1. I remember enjoying this when I first saw it, but that was like 10 years ago, and I don't know how it's going to hold up. The Haunting of Hill House. I tried watching it, didn't really get into it, but I'll give it a second chance. Lost in Space, Season 1. Haven't seen it yet, and I've had this for 5 years at least. Solo Leveling Season 1. Really love Solo Leveling. Love Season 2 as well, and I'm excited to see more. I have a review on my channel for most of these. We got Stranger Things Season 1, which I haven't seen yet. It's been sitting around just collecting dust forever, and that was the last of my TV show Blu-rays. And now to get into my movies, we're going to start off with boutique labels, and first one we got is from Arrow Video, 12 Monkeys, and that's all from Arrow Video. Now on to my criterions. We got Anora, Best Picture winner, love this movie, would love to see it again. Really fun, high energy, and I just love what it's going for. Lost Highway, David Lynch, one of his best movies in my opinion, and I love the tone that it's going for, and just about everything about it is just really great. It tells me what I would want from a David Lynch film. Pepper Moon, really enjoyed this one. I don't really have much to say about it other than it was really good, and I'm happy that I decided to check it out. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I'm happy that this won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature Film at the Oscars. Would it have been my choice, as in like best of that year? I would have picked Puss in Boots The Last Wish, but I'm still happy that won. The Princess Bride by Rob Reiner, rest in peace. This one was really fun, and this might be my favorite Rob Reiner. I'm not sure. I'll have to check out his other movies and rewatch the ones that I've already seen, but I remember really enjoying The Princess Bride. Trainspotting, my favorite Danny Boyle film. Love it so much. And that's the end of my Criterion collection for 4Ks. And now for one from the Film Vault, we got 1917. I already showed this off in my last video. And the movie itself, I don't dislike exactly. Is it one that I love? No, but I'll check it out again. And that was the only one I got from the Film Vault. Next up is Scream Factory or Shout Factory. Halloween. Classic movie. Don't need to say much about it. And those are all my boutique labels. 4Ks, and now onto the steelbooks. I know some of these steelbooks are, I guess, boutique labels, but I just organized them in steelbooks. So first off, we got American Psycho, classic movie. I love the slipcover artwork on this. I'm just going to show it off really quickly. Love this movie so much. I need to see it again because I haven't seen it in a while. Check it out. It's a classic. We got Army of Darkness, the third in the Evil Dead trilogy. Love the Evil Dead trilogy. Very campy and fun for me, and Bruce Campbell's great, and I love what it's going for, and there's just so much that's very memorable to me in that movie. Creature from the Black Lagoon. I enjoyed this one. It's not one that I particularly loved, but it was fun watching it as a time capsule movie, and apparently we're going to get a remake of it by James Wan. I'm not sure how that's doing right now, but we'll see how it looks when that eventually comes out, if that does happen. And speaking of Sam Raimi, Drag Me to Hell. I enjoyed this one. Not as much as the Evil Dead trilogy, but still like this one a lot, and I would come back to it for sure. It's a fun movie that he made. I also haven't seen Send Help yet, but I'm looking forward to that one. Gladiator, awesome movie. Ridley Scott, and I would say this is probably one of his best movies, and I like this a lot more than Gladiator 2, as most people would probably say, or at least from what I can imagine. And it follows the traditional narrative structure that you might expect, but it still manages to work really well, and it earns the emotions that it's going for. I also love Joaquin Phoenix. He does a great job as always. Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Not a great movie, but the only reason I bought this is because I do like the cover art. I think it looks pretty cool. It's a cool looking steelbook. And also it was $5 in the Walmart bin, and when I first saw that I didn't believe it, but I decided to see for myself if it was really $5, and it was. I was shocked. I thought it wasn't going to be just $5, and then I ended up buying it. We got The Ring by Gore Verbinski. Really enjoyed this one. I haven't seen this one too many times. I've seen it at least twice, and I enjoyed it both times. I do prefer the original Ringu film that came out before this, but still really enjoyable, and it stayed with people for a reason. They Live. Really fun movie. It's a cult classic, I believe, and I think it's a great John Carpenter film, one of his best films, and it's just very memorable and offers me a lot. All right, now that's everything for my steelbooks. Now on to the standard releases for my 4Ks. We got 28 Years Later. I've only seen this once. I haven't seen The Bone Temple yet, but it looks interesting, and I'll check it out at some point. 2001: A Space Odyssey, classic. Don't need to say much about it. Check it out if you haven't. The Abyss, James Cameron, one of his best. I've only seen this movie once, and it was on this 4K disc, and a lot of people complain about his 4Ks looking just terrible because they're upscaled with AI, and I personally didn't really have much of an issue with it, with the exception of a couple of scenes, but most part, I thought it looked great. But if you haven't seen The Abyss, then check it out. I think it's great. Adaptation, Spike Jonze, written by Charlie Kaufman. Really great movie. I do prefer Being John Malkovich. I think that's the better of the two films, because this has some ties to that film. But overall, love this movie, what it's going for. Great cast, very memorable. I feel like it has a lot to offer, and I would love to see it again. And next up we have the Alfred Hitchcock Collection, Volume 1 with Rear Window, Vertigo, Psycho, and the Birds. We have Volume 2, here are the titles: Saboteur, Shadow of a Doubt, The Trouble with Harry, Marnie, and Family Plot. We have Volume 3 with Rope, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Torn Curtain, Topaz, and Frenzy. And those are the ones that are available right now, and I think they're mostly pretty great, and I do have other Hitchcock films in my collection that are just standard Blu-rays, but as far as I'm concerned, out of everything I've seen, Alfred Hitchcock has not made a bad movie. There wasn't one that I didn't enjoy, and I've seen at least 20 of his movies, and I still got quite a bit to go through, but always really enjoyable for me. We have Alien, classic movie, and Alien Romulus, which I enjoyed enough. I've seen a couple times, and the first one I really love and would totally watch it again, and it was very groundbreaking for the time. And Alien Romulus, it's fine. It's inoffensive to me, and I could watch it again if I really wanted to. All right, moving on, we have Apocalypse Now, classic. Don't need to say much about it. Like I feel with a lot of these movies. They're just classics. Like, do I really need to say much about them? I don't think so. Other than I love them. Avatar, The Way of Water. I enjoyed this one. Not as much as the first one, but I do think it's good. I haven't seen Fire and Ash yet, but I'll get to it at some point. Barbie. Probably my favorite Greta Gerwig directed movie. Easily. And has a really memorable song, I'm Just Ken, and it was just a very fun experience for me overall, and I'm curious to check out whatever she does next. I think she's doing a Narnia movie next, so we'll see how that goes. The Batman by Matt Reeves. I don't love this movie as much as some people do, but I liked it overall, and it was a bit better for me on a second watch, and I'm curious to check out part 2 when that comes out, but good cast, fun action scenes, and tells you what you would want from a Batman movie. The Big Lebowski, really fun movie, and I love it at this point. The first 3 times I saw it, I just didn't get it, but something about my 4th viewing of it just made me fall in love with it, and it's definitely a Coen Brothers movie that I would love to see again. We have Blade Runner, The Final Cut, which I think is Ridley Scott's best movie. I just fell in love with it the first time that I saw it, and it was in a theater, which I was pleasantly surprised to be able to see it in a theater, and it was pretty much they were playing in preparation for Blade Runner 2049, which I also love, and this might be my favorite Denis Villeneuve film. I saw 2049 in a theater 4 times, and every single time I just loved it, and it was such a special experience for me, and it just felt like all these great artists coming together to really make a fantastic film, and I was so happy to be able to see it. Cabin in the Woods, fun movie. I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember enjoying it. We have Casino by Martin Scorsese, a film that I really love and had great performances, a great story, and despite the 3-hour runtime, I was never bored, which is not something that I can say for every movie out there. A Clockwork Orange by Stanley Kubrick, my second favorite movie ever, possibly. It just really connected with me the first time that I saw it, and I just love the experience and everything that it's going for. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Steven Spielberg, a film that I enjoyed. I don't love it as much as a lot of other people do, but I could come back to it at some point. We have Crank by Neville Dean and Taylor, a film that I find to be very fun and entertaining, and I also love Crank 2 a lot, but I don't own it, unfortunately. The Daniel Craig Collection, a series of films that I enjoyed for the most part. Casino Royale is awesome. Quantum of Solace, I need to rewatch. Skyfall is great. Spectre, decent. No Time to Die was fine, but always really enjoyable, and I got those for Christmas, as well as pretty much every other James Bond movie except for On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which I don't like, but still enjoyable movies overall. Deadpool and Wolverine, really fun MCU film. It was able to deliver what I liked about the MCU, and was really fun and entertaining for me. Die Hard, the original. Classic. Don't need to say much about it. We have Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2. I enjoyed these. They're directed by Denis Villeneuve. Probably some of his weaker films, but I will say they work very well in terms of what they're going for, and I'm excited to see more. Evil Dead 2. You might be wondering why I don't have the first Evil Dead, and that's because it was George Lucas, and I just don't like how it looks, and I do have the DVD, which is the original version, like where you can see the matte painting of the moon and Rob Tapper hiding in the bushes. I do have the DVD that does have that, and the Blu-ray and 4K Blu-rays of the original Evil Dead don't have those mistakes, and they just decided to change it for absolutely no reason. But Evil Dead 2, I really love. It's one of my favorite Sam Raimi films, and I'm not sure what my favorite Sam Raimi film is, honestly. It might be Spider-Man 2, but I'll have to think harder on that. Evil Dead Rise, which is the sequel to the Evil Dead remake. And I like Evil Dead Rise. I do like it a lot more than Fede Alvarez's Evil Dead, the same director as Alien Romulus, and also Don't Breathe. And as long as these Evil Dead movies are better than that 2013 version, I'm fine. That's how I feel about them. Ex Machina, and I believe this was the first movie that I bought that was on 4K, and I like it. I think it's a solid Alex Garland film, and I would recommend that you check it out. The Exorcist, classic movie. Really loved seeing it, and I would definitely watch it again. I feel like I'm saying that a lot. I would definitely watch it again, but it's true. Some of these movies, like, I would watch them again, obviously, because I own them. There's just a lot about them to the experience that I love, and also, this is not like a review for these movies. It's more just like my brief thoughts, and I'm trying to do this as quick as possible. So, moving on. F1, the movie, it was fine. I don't know if I'll watch it again, but I'll probably go through the special features. The Fantastic Four First Steps, probably the best Fantastic Four movie that's actually been released and that I've seen. I haven't seen the 94 version, but we'll see how that goes, if that ever gets officially released or I just find a way to watch it. But anyways, The Fantastic Four First Steps, I thought was good. All right, next stack, we got Ghost in the Shell, which I haven't seen in a while, but I remember enjoying a lot. We got classics like The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2. I don't own Godfather Part 3 because I don't like it. We do have Godzilla -1, which I do really like. That was a fun movie. The Green Knight, which is decent, by David Lowery. I think I prefer A Ghost Story over this, but I haven't seen that in a while. The Green Mile, probably my favorite Frank Darabont film. I know a lot of people would go with The Shawshank Redemption, but I just really love The Green Mile, and out of all the Stephen King adaptation films that is not The Shining, this is probably my favorite. Hell or High Water, really fun heist movie that I would recommend to pretty much anyone. We have Inception, which is a classic movie, even though it's not that old. It's only like 15 years old-ish. I don't know how long a movie needs to exist for it to be considered a classic, but pretty much everyone knows it, and when it came out, everyone just like loved it and referenced it and just couldn't get enough of it. Really great cast, it's very well shot, and it has a great score. Hans Zimmer did the score, and it's iconic. Interstellar has some of the qualities that I love about Inception, although I don't take away too much from it. I think the score is great. It looks very nice, and it's well presented overall. It's just that I don't connect with it as much. It might be my least favorite Nolan film, but I'll have to see it again. The Invisible Man by Leigh Whannell might be his best movie, honestly, after seeing Insidious Chapter 3, The Wolf Man, and Upgrade. I would say The Invisible Man might be my favorite, and it's not great. Jaws, classic. What can I even say about it that hasn't been said already? John Wick Chapter 4, probably my favorite in this franchise. Really great action movie, and delivers on what you would want. Ballerina from the world of John Wick. Decent enough. Probably my least favorite from the franchise, but I didn't walk away thinking that it was terrible. It's just my least favorite, and affects me the least. We have Jurassic Park, my favorite Steven Spielberg film, and I've seen it probably the most out of any of his movies. And I just really love the experience a bit more with every watch. And my most recent watch, I bumped my rating up from a 9 to a 10. And I would just recommend that everyone would see it, despite it having some flaws. But I do feel as though the positives far outweigh the cons of the film. Madam Web, a really bad movie that's really funny, is how I'll put it. I just would love to see it again because it was so funny. It just does everything wrong, and yet I find it amusing. Mad Max Fury Road, a movie that does just about everything right, and it's very, very great. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, also great and would recommend to people. The Martian, really good Ridley Scott film, really fun story, and has lots of interesting ideas. I enjoyed the humor in it as well, and it works pretty well for what it's going for. Mickey 17, Bong Joon-ho film that I enjoyed, and might be my favorite English language film that he directed. I'll have to rewatch Okja and Snowpiercer to really know the answer to that, but if we're just going favorite out of everything that he's done, it would either be Parasite or Mother from 2009, I believe. Nosferatu, really great Robert Eggers movie. It did a lot to improve upon what I am not super big on from the original, and just makes a really great movie that I find to be very engaging. I've only seen it once, but it just left an impact on me, and I would totally see it again. One Battle After Another might be my favorite movie of 2025, and I'm hoping that this wins Best Picture. There are some others that I wouldn't be upset if they do win Best Picture, but I'm hoping that One Battle gets some Oscars. And speaking of Oscar movies, Oppenheimer, the Best Picture winner from 2023 for the 2024 Oscars. And I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a great Christopher Nolan film, and I would watch it again. Pulp Fiction, classic movie, Quentin Tarantino, and just delivers on everything that you would want from a Tarantino film, and what else do you need? If you haven't seen Pulp Fiction, watch Pulp Fiction. We got First Blood and Rambo. I just put this in R for Rambo, and First Blood I think is great. Rambo I think is fine, but it's my favorite out of any of the Rambo movie sequels that came out. And I haven't seen Rambo Last Blood yet, but I hear that one's not very good. Requiem for a Dream, great movie. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'll get around to rewatching it at some point. And Reservoir Dogs, a really great Tarantino film, which I also haven't seen in a while. There's a lot of stuff that I just need to rewatch, and I do want to make time for rewatching movies, but I'm currently watching some TV shows like Friends currently, and I've never seen that before, but I'm just about halfway through season 1, and I'm really enjoying it. All right, now back to James Bond, the original Bond, the Sean Connery collection, with Dr. No all the way up to Diamonds Are Forever, like every movie that he was in, aside from Never Say Never Again. And I enjoyed these movies overall, and I think Sean Connery might be my favorite James Bond. It's either him or Daniel Craig, depending on what type of tone I'm looking for in a movie. But still, enjoyed what these films did for the time, and I'm happy that I was able to see them, and it was fun watching them. The Shining, Stanley Kubrick, classic movie. Loved it. I often hum the theme a lot, just because I feel like it. The Sixth Sense, classic movie as well, for different reasons, and pretty much everyone knows what happens, but I still love what it brings to the table. And it's easily my favorite M. Night Shyamalan film. And we'll see how his latest film, Remain, will be, if that's going to be any good. Probably not, but I'll check it out anyways. Spartacus, a movie that I really loved the first time I saw it. Then I rewatched it, and I was like, yeah, this isn't as great as I remembered it being, but I still liked it a decent amount, and there's a lot to appreciate within it. And it's infamous for it being a film that Stanley Kubrick wasn't overly proud of because he didn't have a lot of creative control over the project, but I do think a good movie came out of it despite that. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, really enjoyed this one. I do like Across the Spider-Verse better, but one of my favorite Spider-Man films is Spider-Man No Way Home. I do love this one. One of my favorite MCU films also, and it just brought everything that I loved about Spider-Man, both as a character, just growing up watching it, and even the Sam Raimi films and everything that it brings to the table. I love all that, and it's just a film that was really enjoyable for me to watch. And next up we have the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. I didn't watch a whole lot of SpongeBob growing up, but I played some of the video games. I played the video game that was based off of this movie, and I always enjoyed it, and it has some really fun lines, and it just has lots of personality that I just got a kick out of watching it. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, the film that's responsible for making me a Star Trek fan, and I love this movie. It's easily my favorite out of the entire franchise, and would love to see it again, along with The Undiscovered Country. That one is also pretty great. The Substance, my favorite movie from 2024, was pleasantly surprised that it was nominated for Best Picture. Didn't expect that to happen. It even won an Oscar for Best Makeup and Hairstyling, which makes sense. I would have assumed it would have gone to something else, but I'm still happy that it won. James Gunn's Superman, with the lenticular slipcover. Let you enjoy that for a moment. I enjoyed this one. I thought it brought a lot to the character of Superman and made a really fun and enjoyable film out of it. And it hit the emotions that it was trying to, and it was a good movie overall. And Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, I love him. The Thing by John Carpenter, probably one of his best movies, if not his best, and I love it, and it's easily a film that I can come back to at any point. And I've seen it a lot of times. And it does not get worse with multiple viewings. And a movie that I would like to see again, Thunderbolts. And this movie is responsible for getting me back into the MCU and making me want to check out more of the films that I missed from Phase 4 all the way up to Thunderbolts, because I was like, yeah, I'm not really into Marvel anymore, but with Thunderbolts, I was like, oh, this is actually enjoyable, fun, exciting, and it brought back what I like about this franchise, and I was like, I want to see more now. Titanic by James Cameron. Love this movie a lot. One of my favorite romance movies, probably. It's just a film that I get a decent amount out of. It's over 3 hours long, like almost 3.5 hours long, and I never once felt a minute of it. Very impressive. Not a lot of movies can do that. Top Gun Maverick, fun movie. I like it a lot more than F1. Definitely a lot better than the first Top Gun for me. I don't like the original Top Gun very much at all. But this one just had all the strengths of the original and just built on them. Really happy about that. Us by Jordan Peele. I've only seen it once, and I keep forgetting to come back to it. I don't know what's wrong with me. V for Vendetta. Really enjoyed this one. Don't have too much to say about it because I haven't seen it in a while. I remember Natalie Portman being great in it, and Hugo Weaving as well. Whiplash. Basically a classic, and just about everyone's seen it. And everyone who's seen it seems to be on the same page and seems to love it as well. The Witch by Robert Eggers. I enjoyed this one. It might be my least favorite that he's done. Not that it's a particularly bad film by any means. I do think it's a pretty good film. It's just his other films I like a lot more. Especially The Lighthouse, which we'll get to. The Wizard of Oz. Classic movie. What else do you want me to say about it? Other than it's amazing. Wicked, Part 1. I still haven't seen Wicked for Good. I hear that's not very good. And last but not least, for my 4K Blu-rays, we have Zodiac by David Fincher. One of my favorites from him, actually. Was not expecting to like it as much as I did, but I thought it was great. All right, next up, we're going into my Criterion Blu-rays. And starting off, we have Barry Lyndon, which is my favorite movie of all time. And I love the look of this movie especially, and the characters and the story. It really resonates a lot with me, and I just feel as though, in ways, this movie is kind of about life itself. That's kind of what I take away from it, and I just love what it's doing, and it's very memorable to me. Holds a special place in my heart. And the music in it, too, is iconic, and I can just listen to it at any point and to just be like, I love this so much. Blue Velvet by David Lynch. Really enjoyed it. I haven't seen it in a while. Eraserhead, I've seen a few times, and this might be my favorite that he's done. It's a very memorable film, a very crazy and out there, but it works. It definitely works, and you can tell what it's going for, even if it is confusing at times. Fantastic Mr. Fox by Wes Anderson. One of his best films, I would say. Love the animation and the humor and the story. And it just tells me what I would want from a Wes Anderson film, and it looks great as well. Funny Games by Michelle Haneke. And I do prefer the 2007 version over this one. And I feel as though that one was a bit more clear in terms of what it was going for. I kind of interpreted this as like, I was kind of comedic, but upon watching the 2007 version, I was like, oh, that's not what it's kind of going for at all. I think I misinterpreted what this one was going for, actually. So I need to see this again, even if there is a version that I prefer. and the 2007 version is also a shot-for-shot remake, but it was just more clear for what it was going for, like I said already. But moving on, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, one of my favorite Wes Anderson films. I rewatched it recently, and I just loved it. It was so great for me from beginning to end. The characters are very strong, and I love the soundtrack choices. Lots of David Bowie stuff in there, and the ending for me was also very satisfying. So if you haven't seen Life Aquatic, check it out. Memories of Murder by Bong Joon-ho. Love this movie a lot. Would totally come back to it, and if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Don't be turned off by the idea that it's a foreign language film from 2003 or whatever. It definitely should exceed your expectations and is very entertaining and engaging throughout. The Michelle Haneke trilogy, and this trilogy, it's not like movies that are connected. It's just 3 movies that he's made, and this includes The Seventh Continent, Benny's Video, and 71 Fragments. I'm just going to abbreviate it to 71 Fragments. And I think these are all great. I do prefer the movies they released in the 2000s decade as opposed to the 90s, but still really enjoyed those, and I think that they're all movies that you should check out at some point. Next up, we have Notorious. Really great Hitchcock film. I've seen it once, and it's a film that I connected with a decent amount. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out. Pan's Labyrinth, Guillermo del Toro. Probably my favorite from him. But I haven't seen it in a while. Paths of Glory. One of my favorite Kubrick films, probably. Definitely one of my favorite movies from the 50s, if not my favorite. And I love what it's going for. It's also very short, 88 minutes. So if you haven't seen this movie, check it out. Everything that it's going for is super relatable, and even if it's not relatable, then at the very least you can understand what the characters are going through, and I just think it's really great overall. Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Really enjoyed this one as well. I don't have much to say about it other than I just really love the characters and the lack of music for most of the movie, and it was just really interesting to see. Rebecca by Alfred Hitchcock. The only Hitchcock film that was a Best Picture winner, believe it or not. I'm not sure if his other films were nominated for Best Picture, but That one was the only one that won an Oscar for Best Picture. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I really loved it. And I thought it was great. And Alfred Hitchcock movies, he usually makes some really great films that are not only really good for the time, and also films that hold up even to this day, but also sometimes some of the best movies of that decade. Rosemary's Baby, classic movie, very, very well shot, knows exactly what it needs to in order to be a great film, and just really comes together in a way that I find to be satisfying. Rushmore, Wes Anderson. I've seen this one once, and I remember really enjoying it. The Silence of the Lambs, a classic film that I'm sure you all have seen. So I'm not going to talk about it much because what else is there to talk about at this point? And that's all of my Criterion Blu-rays. Now moving on to Shout Factory, which is the next boutique label, or Scream Factory. Coraline, love this movie. It's not as good as Nightmare Before Christmas for me. I do prefer that one over this, but I do love what it's going for. There are moments that I really love and have stuck with me ever since that I saw it. And I just really enjoyed it. And it's not a movie that's just for kids, despite it being an animated movie. There are some adult themes going on in it. And if you haven't checked it out, then watch it for sure. Escape from New York, John Carpenter. I enjoyed it. I don't love it. It's definitely a lot better than Escape from LA. I can say that much about it, which is pretty much the inverse to Escape from New York in terms of its approach with visual effects and entertainment value. But Escape from New York, I would watch again for sure. Next up, we got a classic. We have Fargo. And next up, we have a collection of films, that being The Fly, the original, Return of the Fly, The Curse of the Fly, The Fly Remake by David Cronenberg, and The Fly 2. The Fly Remake's my favorite. The original Fly is also great, and the rest of them are not worth watching. Only reason I still have them is because they came in the collection pack. Next up, we have a 2-pack of The Fog and The Howling. I might rewatch The Howling at some point. Maybe it was a film that I just didn't get, but The Fog I do really enjoy, and I think the music in The Fog is really great, and it's pretty much my main attraction to wanting to revisit that film. When Harry Met Sally, I watched this for the first time not too long ago, and I really enjoyed this one. Definitely one of Rob Reiner's best films, in my opinion, and if you haven't seen this movie, check it out. All right, moving on to my steelbooks, we have Airplane, classic. Very funny movie, very quotable, love it. Arrival, great movie by Denis Villeneuve, really great performances, and I love the emotions that it's going for. We have a 2-pack, The Blair Witch Project and Blair Witch, and it's kind of funny how they did this because they put the wrong movies on the wrong discs. Where this has the Blair Witch Project, this has just Blair Witch. So, still a pretty cool looking steelbook in my opinion. Here's a better look at that. And here's the spine. Yep. And moving on, we have Django Unchained. If you can see the title a little bit. There we go. Probably one of my least favorite Tarantino films. I don't connect with it as much as some people do. There's a lot that I do appreciate about it for sure, and my opinion has kind of changed about it in different ways. And I do feel as though there are things that I appreciate and things that I just enjoy less about it as time goes on. Howl's Moving Castle. Really great Miyazaki film. I really enjoyed it. And I pretty much really enjoyed everything that he made that was between, I like to call it the two castles, that being Howl's Moving Castle and The Castle in the Sky. Get it? The two castles. Like everything in between those movies I think is great and worth watching, whereas the stuff that came out after was just not as great. Like I wasn't a big fan of Ponyo, The Wind Rises was decent, and The Boy and the Heron was fine and kind of forgettable to me. The Hunt for Red October, a decent action movie that I need to rewatch. My Neighbor Totoro, one of my favorite Miyazaki films. Loved it so much, and there's not a whole lot that happens in it, but still, it managed to get an emotional response out of me, which is pretty surprising. One Cut of the Dead, a movie that you can be easily spoiled for if you look up much about it, and don't watch the trailers, so don't look up anything about this movie. All you need to know is that it is a single-take zombie film, and you should watch past the credits. And that's me also kind of quoting Adam from Your Movie Sucks. That's how that movie was sold to me, and I thought it was great, and I watched it with my mom, and she enjoyed it. She was surprised with what it had to offer. Perfect Blue. Really enjoyed this one by Satoshi Kon. I've also seen Paprika, and those are the only ones that I've seen, and Perfect Blue might be my favorite out of the two that I've seen. Next up we have Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Really funny movie. Would watch it again. Porco Rosso. This might be my favorite Miyazaki film. I'm not sure how hot of a take that is, but I just really love it. I've only seen it once, but it connected with me a lot. Power Rangers from 2017. This one's kind of a guilty pleasure. I watched it in a theater and had fun, and I still do have fun watching it, but I can acknowledge that it's not great. Shivers by David Cronenberg, his first feature film, I believe, and I remember enjoying this, and it was a film that was like, oh, this is kind of weird and different, and that's pretty much what I got. It's not great, it's not a masterpiece, but it was enjoyable enough for me from memory. Skinamarink, a film that is kind of divisive from where I'm sitting. Some people really hate this movie and find it boring. Other people find it great and kind of scary. I fall somewhere in between the two. I feel as though there's about an hour of this film that's really boring, but 40 minutes of it are pretty great and really make up for what was making me bored. And there's a lot that I do appreciate about it. It was made for like a shoestring budget, basically. And there are things that I do appreciate about it, but I do have my own issues with it as well. Next up, we have a classic, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. You haven't seen it? Check it out. Total Recall, fun action movie by Paul Verhoeven. I'm not sure. It might be my favorite, honestly. I need to rewatch Starship Troopers. I remember not really enjoying that one the first time I saw it, but I'll check it out again. Both that and Starship Troopers. And also RoboCop. I do like that movie also. The Wolf of Wall Street, really good Scorsese movie. And I'm pretty sure everyone knows what it is, and lots of people have quoted it, and it's just everywhere you look in terms of like popular movies that people like to quote. Zoolander. In ways, I guess, a classic. I enjoyed it. I didn't fall in love with it by any means, but it was a fun movie for me to experience overall. And that is all my steelbooks, and now for my standard Blu-rays. We have 12 Angry Men, classic. What else do you want me to say about it that hasn't been said already? 47 Meters Down, really bad movie, but it's kind of funny. A24 Horror, came with 5 movies. As you can see, It Comes at Night, Green Room, The Witch, X, and Hereditary. I need to rewatch Hereditary. I haven't seen that in a long time. I've only seen that once, and it was in a theater, and I remember enjoying it. And It Comes at Night might be my favorite out of those 5. And X, that was fine. Green Room, decent. And The Witch, I already talked about. Alien Collection. First 2 are great. Prometheus is decent, and the rest are either lukewarm or bad. Like Alien 3 is okay. Alien Resurrection and Alien Covenant are kind of bad. Double feature, History of Violence and American History X. both enjoyable movies. I prefer A History of Violence out of the two. I just connect with that a lot more. American Made, it's fine. I don't know if I'll watch this again. If I do, I'll see whether or not I'll sell this movie. Annihilation by Alex Garland. I do like this better than Ex Machina. I'm not sure if it's my favorite or not. It might be Warfare. I haven't seen Civil War yet, but I remember really enjoying Warfare. Asteroid City, my least favorite Wes Anderson movie. It just connects with me the least. But it's not a bad movie. I wouldn't recommend starting with it, though. If you're looking to get into Wes Anderson movies, there are much better ones to get into, like any of the ones that I showed you before this or after this. So, what those other ones are, just wait and see. I'll get to them. Austin Powers trilogy, fun movies. I would like to revisit these films after watching all the James Bond movies. James Cameron's Avatar, solid movie. I remember watching it in the theater and having a good time with it, and it still works pretty well, I feel. Despite the story being just kind of average and whatever, still a good movie overall, and I would rewatch it. The Aviator by Martin Scorsese. I like this one a lot. Not one of my favorite Scorsese films, but it was like really cheap, and when I bought it, it was like $5, so I figured why not. Babylon. My least favorite Damien Chazelle film out of everything that he's made so far. I remember really loving La La Land, even though I haven't seen it in a while. First Man was great, and then he released this, and I do think it's pretty good. Although his other ones just leave more of an impact on me, despite me thinking that there are some really great scenes in this film, and stuff that is very memorable and I'm thinking of right now, but I just wish that it was better. Bad Times at the El Royale. Really enjoyable film from the same director as Cabin in the Woods. And it's a film that juggles a lot of different storylines together and makes a really great film out of it. The Banshees of Inisherin. Really great dark comedy. Really great performances by Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. And overall, would love to see it again. And I'm excited for his next movie. Batman Quadrilogy. Really enjoyed these two. These two I do not enjoy. And I'll just leave it at that. Beetlejuice. I haven't seen it in a while. I need to rewatch it, but I remember liking it. And lastly, from this pile, we have Ben-Hur. The main reason I decided to watch this is because it was a Best Picture winner, and I think it's decent. There's memorable scenes within it, but if we're going by movies that I would be rushing to come back to, Ben-Hur is probably not going to be one of those. I do love the final act of the film. I think that's pretty great, but most of the movie's decent and enjoyable enough, I guess. Black Dynamite. Incredible parody film, might be my favorite, and it has some really iconic music that works very well in it. Very memorable jokes and very fast-paced. Love the experience. If you haven't seen Black Dynamite, check out Black Dynamite. We have Black Mass, which has a great performance by Johnny Depp and has a good cast overall, and it's a fun crime thriller. Black Swan, my favorite Darren Aronofsky film, and one of my favorite movies ever, in my top 5. Blade Trilogy. First two are good. The third one is hilariously bad. And I could come back to the third movie just for laughs. Blair Witch. Now you might be wondering why I have 2 copies of this. It's because I was planning on reviewing this movie again for its 10th anniversary, because my channel would have been 10 years old, and this was the first review of any movie that I did on my channel. And I was thinking, I want to see how it holds up, see how much I've grown as a person, and show you, like, oh, this is how I feel now, sort of thing. And sure, I've done, like, updated thoughts for movies before, but I just felt as though that would have been a fun idea. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Fun movie. Don't have much else to say about it because I don't remember too much, but I remember liking it. Boogie Nights by Paul Thomas Anderson. Classic movie. One of my favorites from 97, and it's a really great second feature film. And his first movie was Hard Eight, which I liked, and then he just came out with Boogie Nights, and it was actually incredible. It has a really great cast and so many scenes that I would just love to come back to. Boy Kills World, a fun action movie that I enjoyed. Bruno, one of my favorite comedies, and I just find it to be hilarious. Sacha Baron Cohen does such a great job in that movie. Burn After Reading, a really great Coen Brothers film. I find it to be really fun and enjoyable, and I love the tone that it's going for, and it has a great cast as well. And it's really fun overall. Cabin Fever, my favorite Eli Roth film, and that's probably how it's going to stay for the rest of his career. Because apparently the rest of his movies are not that great. I remember enjoying The House with a Clock in Its Walls, and I might have seen something else, but I'm not sure. But Cabin Fever is the one that I enjoy the most. Cape Fear. I saw this once and I was thinking, oh, this is available for me to watch on Blu-ray, and it was cheap at Walmart, and I bought it, and I would like to see it again. Captain America: The Winter Soldier, a film that I have some fond memories of, and it still holds up pretty well as not only as an MCU film, but also as a spy thriller action film, and it worked pretty well. I don't love it as much as I did when I first saw it, and that's probably more due to the fact that I was just pleasantly surprised with what it offered. Like, oh, the first one was decent. This one, oh, it's like a really great action movie, and it was a lot of fun for me at the time. Castle in the Sky, really great Miyazaki film. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's one of his best. Catwoman, like Madame Web, a really bad movie, but it's also funny. It's also very cheesy as well. That might be the cheesiest movie I have in my entire collection. Challengers by Luca Guadagnino, if I pronounced that correctly. Thought that was a great film. I've only seen it once, but I enjoyed it, and there's parts that have stuck with me since I saw it. A Charlie Brown Christmas, classic. What else do you need to know? Children of Man, classic. What else do you need to know? Same here with Citizen Kane. All movies that I love. Clint Eastwood trilogy that comes with Two Mules for Sister Sarah, which is probably my favorite out of this trilogy. Joe Kid and High Plains Drifter. Enjoyable westerns that I liked, and I'll come back to it. The Conjuring, one of James Wan's better films, I think. It might be my favorite also in the Conjuring universe as well. Crazy Stupid Love, really good romantic comedy that I thought was really good. The Descent, and here's the actual cover for it. If you're not familiar with this, it's just a Walmart exclusive. Really great horror movie by Neil Marshall, and I think that's the only movie that I've seen from him outside of the Hellboy remake that he did. All right, we have a trilogy, and I just went alphabetically with this because I don't know where else to put it, honestly. So, Devil's Advocate, Christopher Nolan's Insomnia, and Seven. Devil's Advocate, I think, is a funny bad movie. And Insomnia, I remember really loving, but I haven't seen in a while. And Seven is a classic that I really love, and it's one of David Fincher's best movies. Dial M for Murder, really great Hitchcock film. Watch it if you haven't seen it yet. The Dictator, a decent comedy. I'm not sure if I'll enjoy it all too much if I see it again, but we'll see. Die Hard Collection. You might be wondering why I have this if I already have the first movie on 4K. And the reason why I have this is because it's for the third movie, which I really love, and honestly might be my favorite in this franchise. And this was the cheapest way I could get the third movie. It was cheaper to get this than buy the movie individually, if you can believe that. But yeah, Die Hard 1 and 3, love those two. Love them a lot. Doctor Sleep, the sequel to The Shining, it's alright. I understand how people love it and really connect with it. I'm just not really into it. Don't Breathe by Fede Alvarez might be his best movie. I'm not saying it's great, but there are parts that I remember about it, and it was fun. Next up, we have Dread, which I've seen once. I enjoyed. I remember it being much like the first Die Hard, but I still liked it. Doctor Strangelove by Stanley Kubrick. Really funny movie. Don't need to say much about it because it's a classic. Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan. I think this one's great. I understand that people don't connect with it super well because the characters are kind of underdeveloped or they don't really have much character at all. But I'm personally just able to get into it because I understand what they're going through, just through the experience and also the intention of what they're doing, if that makes sense. We got M. Night Shyamalan's Israel 177 trilogy with Unbreakable, which is the best one of this trilogy, Split, which I also think is great, and Glass, which is not very good and you should not watch. Watch Unbreakable and Split, but avoid Glass because it is unsatisfying. Edge of Tomorrow, that's how I say it, not Live, Die, Repeat. I go with Edge of Tomorrow, and it's decent. I don't love it, but I enjoyed it enough. Edward Scissorhands, decent Tim Burton movie, and lots of people have seen and loved it, and I like it too. 8th Grade, I need to rewatch this. I haven't seen this in so long. I really need to prioritize rewatching a bunch more movies now. But 8th Grade I remember enjoying. I can't really comment much on its quality because I haven't seen it in so long, but I remember liking it. Everything Everywhere All at Once, really great movie. Loved that it won Best Picture. Wasn't my pick for Best Picture. It wasn't my favorite of that year, but I do feel as though it was one of the best of that year and offered a lot and was basically The Matrix, but doing something different and gave me something enjoyable about it. Eye in the Sky, really good movie. And I've seen it a few times, and it works pretty well for what it's going for. Eyes Wide Shut. I've seen this once, and I remember really loving it. But we'll see what happens if I rewatch it. All right, sorry for the abrupt cut. I tried doing this a couple of times. First thing that went wrong, I ran out of storage. Second time I tried to do this, the audio was out of sync, and now I'm going to do this one last time to see if this works. And I'm just going to go a little bit faster. I'm not going to give you a lot of opinions on these movies, just whether or not I like them or not, and just make this go by a little bit faster. So, the favorite, Yorgos Lanthimos, probably the easiest movie he's made to get into if you're interested in watching a Yorgos Lanthimos film. We got Fight Club, classic. Don't need to say much about it. Finding Dory, it's fine, decent. Second time I saw it, and I don't really have strong opinions on it. First Man, I consider this movie to be underrated. I like Damien Chazelle movies a lot, and I will say that it's not as good as Whiplash or La La Land, but I think I've seen this one the most times, honestly. And there's plenty about it that I do appreciate. I think the music's great, performances, the look of it, all really great aspects to it, and really nice special effects. Forrest Gump, classic. Then we got The French Dispatch. I need to see this for a second time. And I was planning to do a Wes Anderson ranking, but I still need to see The Phoenician Scheme for a second time. But Full Metal Jacket, great Kubrick movie. Not one of my favorites. There's just other ones that he's made that I like a lot more. But still, great movie overall. Get Out, haven't seen this in a long time, but I remember really enjoying it. The Ghostwriter, awesome movie by Roman Polanski. Really great performances. Love what it's going for in terms of commentary and just ideas that it's trying to get at and make something really interesting out of it. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, one of my favorite David Fincher movies, if not my favorite. Right up there with Gone Girl, which I also think is really great. And Gone Girl, I think, was his last really great movie, in my opinion. Mank and The Killer, I think, are both good, but the stuff that he made before is much better, in my opinion, overall, with the exception of Alien 3. Goodfellas, classic Scorsese movie. Don't need to say much about it. The Grand Budapest Hotel, my second favorite Wes Anderson movie. And I just love that it has so many things about it that I can just remember. And I don't know what else to say about it at this point. The Greatest Showman, not really a fan of it. My mom likes it, and that's the only reason that I have it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there at all. Halloween 2-pack collection. I have the original on 4K, and this just comes with the 2018 version. And that one's fine. Halloween Kills is also fine, and Halloween Ends I can do without. The Hateful Eight, one of my favorite Tarantino films. The first Tarantino film that I ever watched. And it holds a special place in my heart, and I just really love everything that it's going for. And I prefer the theatrical cut over the extended edition that's on Netflix. I just feel as though everything that it is added in the extended edition just doesn't need to be there. Heat by Michael Mann. Really good crime thriller heist film. I've only seen it once. I need to see it again. Her, one of my favorite movies of all time. I think I rated it at number 3. And first time I watched it, it had a way of really getting emotional feelings out of me, and I just had such an emotional response to it, and it just connected with me the very first time I watched it, and has been that way ever since. High Life, decent movie. It's A24, and I think that's the only reason I bought it. And it's fine. If I were to see it again, I might sell it, but we'll see what happens. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, classic. If Beale Street Could Talk, I feel this way the same way I do about High Life. If I see it again, I might sell it because I don't love it. In Bruges, really great dark comedy. Great performances, loads of memorable scenes, quotable for me as well, and I just love it overall. Inglourious Bastards, a film that I've seen many times. The first time I saw this movie, I actually didn't like it. And then I decided to come back to it just thinking to myself, maybe I just didn't get it. And it was just something about it that I just felt as though had more to offer than I was just looking at. And upon multiple viewings, I was able to get a really great movie out of, if that makes sense. And at this point, I think it's a great film, and I would love to see it again. Isle of Dogs. Love this one as well. Really great Wes Anderson film. As far as the 2 animated movies that he's made, I prefer Fantastic Mr. Fox, but I still think Isle of Dogs is great, and there's lots that I really appreciate about it. Sorry. And really great animation, great characters as well. Looks awesome as well. It Follows by David Robert Mitchell. Really good horror movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Jackie Brown, my least favorite Tarantino film, but I could give this a second watch at this point. It's been a while since I've seen it. Joker, a.k.a. the King of Comedy, but with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. And it's a good movie. I prefer it over Joker Fully Ado, and I'll just leave it at that. The Lost World Jurassic Park, my favorite Jurassic Park sequel. And I think it's better than everything that came out after it. And I think this one's pretty good. I would consider this to be underrated. I think I give it a 7 out of 10 at this point. I've seen this movie a lot of times, along with the first movie, and I don't know, I just like the experience a lot. I like what it's going for. It looks very nice, really good performances. The special effects for 97 look great, especially for the time, and has really great music, and there's just a lot that I really appreciate about that movie. There are flaws, obviously, but I can point out more positives than negatives in that film. Jurassic World, it's fine. It reaches the bare minimum of what I need from a movie, I guess. Kind of dated, but it is kind of somewhat nostalgic for me in the sense that I remember seeing it in a theater and having fun. Kick-Ass, decent movie. I've only seen this once, so you should probably watch it again. Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2. I consider this one movie. This is my favorite Tarantino film. Love the tone that it's going for. Love the action scenes and everything that's in it. Complements the film, especially the music and just the directions that the story goes down. Kiki's Delivery Service. Really good Miyazaki film. One of my least favorites, but it's still pretty good. Knives Out. Really good whodunit thriller, and probably my favorite out of everything that Rian Johnson has done, honestly. From what I've seen, at least. I need to rewatch Looper and Last Jedi, but I think it's better than the Knives Out sequels, and I do like those. Those being Glass Onion and Wake Up Dead Man, but still good movies overall, from what I remember. La La Land, I've seen this movie once, and I need to see it again. Legend, pretty good Ridley Scott film. I saw the director's cut, and I remember liking it. I'll probably see the theatrical cut at some point, but we'll see what happens. Lego Batman and Lego Movie 2, the second part. Enjoyable movies. I keep forgetting to get the first Lego movie in this collection, but I'll get around to that. Lego Batman's a lot of fun. Lego Movie 2's fine, and the original is my favorite. License to Kill, really good James Bond movie. One of the better ones, I would say. Actually, the Timothy Dalton James Bond movies, like both of those are really good. The Lighthouse, one of my favorite movies as well. Love everything about this movie. I connected with it the first time that I saw it, and really great performances. Really sad that it didn't get a lot of attention at the Oscars. The only one that really got nominated for was cinematography, and it didn't even win that. Unfortunately, it lost to 1917, but what are you going to do? Willem Dafoe, he was incredible in that movie. And there's a lot of other things that I love about it, but I'm not going to get into that now. The Lion King, classic. Don't need to say much about it. Lisa Frankenstein, fun movie for me. I enjoyed it. And I would encourage you to check it out. The Little Mermaid. Don't need to say much about it because it's a classic. Little Miss Sunshine, really good road trip movie that I really enjoyed. The Living Daylights, the other Timothy Dalton James Bond movie that I think is really good. The Lobster by Yorgos Lanthimos. Really great movie, great performances, very rewatchable for me, and if you haven't seen it, then check it out. And if you're looking for more weird Yorgos Lanthimos films, then it's not a bad one to start with. Logan Lucky. From what I remember, it was a good heist movie by Steven Soderbergh, but I haven't seen it in a long time. Stanley Kubrick's Lolita. Classic. Love everything that it's going for. I love Kubrick movies, and it just really connected with me. Lord of the Rings trilogy. Love these movies. I haven't seen the extended editions, but from the theatrical cuts, I would say Fellowship is my favorite. The Majestic by Frank Darabont. I think this movie's underrated, and if you haven't seen it, check it out. Not as good as Shawshank Redemption or The Green Mile, but still really good overall. The Man with No Name trilogy. Classic movies. Mars Attacks. Decent Tim Burton movie. I remember enjoying it, even if it is kind of goofy. It has a ton of characters. I have issues with it, but good movie overall, from memory. The Matrix trilogy. I like these better than The Matrix Resurrections. The first one I really love. It's a classic. Reloaded, good. Revolutions could have been better. Midsommar. I've only seen this movie once, and I haven't seen it since, but I remember liking it. I also haven't seen the director's cut, so I'll probably watch that if I were to rewatch Midsummer. Mission Impossible 6 movie collection has all of them up all the way up to Fallout, and I enjoyed most of them. 2 and 3 are the only ones that I don't like, but the rest of them are pretty good. Frank Darabont's The Mist. There's the cover that you're probably more familiar with. And the reason why I bought this is because it has the intended version where you can watch it in black and white, because I watched it on Netflix for the first time and it was in color. Apparently that's the wrong way to watch that movie, so I'm excited to see it again. I would like to see what that black and white version really does to it. Moonrise Kingdom, my favorite Wes Anderson movie. I rewatched this not too long ago and held up beautifully, and love the characters, love the style and everything that it's going for. It's a really great movie overall. Mouse Hunt, a film that's very nostalgic for me. I saw it many, many times as a kid, and it was fun revisiting it. Really good Gore Verbinski movie. My Best Friend is a Vampire. Fun movie. I saw it once. Should probably watch it again. The Naked Gun trilogy, and the fourth one. Really funny movies. I think I like the first one the best. Never Say Never Again. Really good James Bond movie, and it's directed by Revan Kushner, if I pronounced that correctly. Same director as The Eyes of Laura Mars and Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, and it was really good. I like that one a lot. Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. I got the t-shirt for this, and it's directed by Henry Selick, and it's a classic. And speaking of classics, Night of the Living Dead by George A. Romero. No Country for Old Men might be my favorite Coen Brothers movie. I'll have to rewatch all of them, but it's pretty high up there. I love that movie a lot. Nocturnal Animals, great movie. Really enjoyed everything that it's going for. Love the tone and the characters, and it's just a movie that I would love to revisit. North by Northwest, classic Hitchcock movie. Really enjoyed that one. The Northman by Robert Eggers, the same director as The Witch, The Lighthouse, and most recently Nosferatu, and he's doing a werewolf movie, which I'm very excited for. And this one I remember liking a lot. Okay, you got not too many left. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, one of my favorite Tarantino films. Very rewatchable. Looking forward to Adventures of Cliff Booth later this year. Paranormal Activity Collection has the first 6 movies. The first 2 are worth watching, the rest of them are not. Parasite, Best Picture winner. Love this movie a lot, and I'm happy that it won Best Picture. Would it be my number 1? No, but I'm still happy that it won. Like a 9 out of 10 movie winning Best Picture for me is acceptable in my book. Pierce Brosnan, James Bond movies. Really good, really enjoyable. Well, most of them anyway. I would watch them again. Poor Things, my favorite Yorgos Lanthimos film. Princess Mononoke, remember really enjoying this one. Priscilla by Sofia Coppola. It's pretty much the inverse of Elvis from whatever year that came out, by Baz Luhrmann starring Austin Butler, and I enjoyed it. Prisoners by Denis Villeneuve, one of my favorites for sure. Public Enemies by Michael Mann, and it's decent from what I remember. Rocky Collection, and we got Creed and Creed 2. All really good movies for the most part. The only one I don't like is Rocky 5. We got the Roger Moore Collection Volume 1 and Volume 2. My favorite from this collection series of films would probably be The Spy Who Loved Me, and Moonraker is also good, and most of them are decent, enjoyable time capsule action movies. Saw Collection has the first 8 movies, and Saw X. The first one is the best one, and believe it or not, that collection of 8 movies only cost me $15 and was from Walmart, if you can believe that. And the first one's good, the rest of them are kind of guilty pleasure movies, and I skipped Saw Spiral because that one's the only one I would consider to be bad. But moving on, we got the Scary Movie trilogy. The first one's good, second one not so much, third one is fine, and next we have Scream trilogy. We got Scream 4, the fifth one, just Scream, and we got Scream 6. Mostly good movies. My favorite would probably be the second one, honestly. Okay, moving on, we got A Serious Man by the Coen brothers. One of their better movies from memory. I've only seen it once, but I remember thinking it was great. The Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro, one of his best, I would say. Sicario, one of my least favorite Denis Villeneuve films, if not my least favorite, but still pretty good. Spirited Away, really good Miyazaki film. I've seen this movie a couple times and really enjoyed it both times. Star Trek Into Darkness and Star Trek Beyond. This one I think is the only one worth watching in the trilogy. I don't have the first one, but I don't really feel I need to come back to it. And Into Darkness, I don't really care for, and honestly could get rid of at any point. Star Wars, the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and that's all the Star Wars movies that I have. I didn't care to get any of the Disney ones. I like the originals. The prequels, I feel, are more kind of interestingly bad, whereas the Disney stuff, there's like nothing to it. There's not really much you can really say about it. Whereas the prequels, like, there's so much you can just say about it. So, Strangers on a Train, really good Hitchcock movie. Really affected me when I saw it, and it's still stuck with me, even after I saw it. And it's a very memorable and effective film, I feel, overall, in terms of, like, what it's going for. Okay, we got this Death of Superman comic book thing or whatever, and it comes with Superman Doomsday, which I think is fine, inoffensive, doesn't really do much for me, but it's not a terrible movie overall. Suspiria, my favorite horror movie overall, like, depends on how you define horror. If you're looking for just horror and not really any other genre, then Suspiria is my favorite. If not, then if you're going to say movies that kind of take horror and use it as a tool to mix it into something else, then I would say The Lighthouse, but it really depends on how you define it. But Suspiria, really love this movie, and I did see the original, wasn't a big fan of that one, but the remake I just really connect with, and I love the body horror stuff and everything that it's going for. Really great performances, great music, and all that kind of stuff is really great. Sweeney Todd, really great Tim Burton movie. One of his better ones, at the very least. Tar, my favorite movie from 2022. Tenet, by Christopher Nolan. One of his weaker films, in my opinion, but it's still worth watching, I feel. Thor Ragnarok, by Taika Waititi. I have seen a decent amount of Taika Waititi films, and the ones that I have seen are worth watching. I haven't seen Thor Love and Thunder yet, but Thor Ragnarok I remember enjoying, and as far as MCU films, it's a good one, in my opinion. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Love this movie so much. Great performances. Looks really great. Love it as a dark comedy, and just everything that it's going for is just awesome. Tombstone. I've only seen this once. I remember it being decent. We got Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, and Toy Story 3. Love the first one. The second one is my favorite. The third one is decent, and the rest of them I haven't seen. Haven't seen 4, not really interested in 5. Uncut Gems by the Safdie brothers, and now they're doing their own thing. And I think the Safdies are very talented, and I think Uncut Gems is pretty great. And I believe that was the last film they did together as far as like directing it together. Now they're just doing their own thing. I think Josh did Marty Supreme, which I really love, and Benny did The Smashing Machine, which I haven't seen yet. But Uncut Gems, love it. Great performance by Adam Sandler, and I love what it's going for. Under the Skin, some people really love it. Some people are not that into it. I fall somewhere in between. I like the second half better than the first half, but pretty good movie overall. And that was an A24 film, and now we got another one. Warfare by Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza, if I pronounced that correctly. Really great movie. It's like a bottle movie in a sense, but I think it works really well. Waves by Trey Edward Schultz, the same director as It Comes at Night, and I think this is probably his best movie, and I've only seen 2 movies from him. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, a decent Robert Zemeckis film. Widows by Steve McQueen, the same director as Shame and 12 Years a Slave, and those 2 I really love. And I haven't seen this in a long time, but I need to rewatch it. I remember liking it, though. And lastly, we got a couple of superhero movies. The Wolverine, decent James Mangold film, enjoyable superhero film. Starts out great and then just gets progressively worse as it goes along, but I like it overall. Wonder Woman, a movie that I remember liking, but if I were to see it again, I probably won't like it, so we'll see what happens. And that is every movie that I own on Blu-ray. So thank you for sticking around with me for all these years. It means so much to me that people have been enjoying my content and all this stuff. Sorry for this being so late. I meant to do this a lot sooner, but like I said earlier, ran into some issues. But hopefully this gets up before March. If not, then this will have to do. But at least I can say I got it out there finally. So thank you so much for sticking with me for as long as you did, or if you're new to the channel, thank you for watching all this, and I hope that you enjoyed all this. And if you like this video, then leave a like, and I got a bunch of other stuff that I'll be reviewing in the future. And don't forget to subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The French Connection. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.